Hello and welcome to Benue Television News at 9. Says brandishing Russian flag is an abuse of constitutional right. On the international scene, Kamala Harris speaks walls as running mate. In a significant move to diversify its economy, the Benue state government has distributed over 4,000 Tenera oil palms to youths in the state. The youths received the palm trees Monday at the Benue Alia Palm Project plant in Makudi through the initiative of Governor Alia and all the stakeholders. Under the Benue Alia Palm Project, the governor plans to cultivate over 1 million oil palms yearly to position the state as a key player in the oil palm industry. Correspondent Emmanuel Akula covered the event and brings us this report.
The project is Alia Youth Palm Legacy, advocating the planting of Tenera palms to grow the future. Governor Alia says he is passionate about this project to turn the state into the hub of oil palms in achieving the objective of lifting thousands of families out of poverty. Represented by his Senior Special Assistant on Youth Mobilization and Empowerment, Moses Mkenim, the governor projects planting of 4 million oil palms in the next 4 years and to support 10,000 smallholder farmers to grow oil palms. He says he is anticipating the establishment of 5 processing mills to enhance value addition, create 20,000 direct jobs in the oil palm sector, increase oil palm production by 50% in the next 3 years, and promote sustainable farming practices and environmental protection.
If we plant a palm, we're building a future. We're growing a future, basically, because we're taught the economic benefits of palm trees. We're here to ensure that the youth of this state take part in this great initiative that is about to turn around the fortune of, to reshape the fortune of their lives.
Other stakeholders, Chief Silvanus Gashara and Chief Barnabas Gemade, Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, Aonduna Dajo, Commissioner for Youth, Sports and Creativity, Tekimbi Kange, and that of Finance and Economic Planning, Michael Gleba, who also sponsored the Tenere oil palm, affirms its high-yielding capacity and potential to boost the income of local farmers. The stakeholders urge local farmers and people of the state to plant the oil palm for their domestic needs and financial freedom.
If you plant this in the next 3 years and it starts to produce, I can produce for like 20 years. It means somebody who has 100, who has up to 1,000, you can only check how much you have. So it's actually a legacy project.
If you plant 200 trees of palm successfully, in 3 years, you will never be poor again in your life.
There is no leadership without followership. We can only be clapping hands for the wrong thing when we are not giving them respect. When we say earlier the better, please, I want us to stand by him. This is a generation of the youth.
For the benefiting youths, this is what the project means to them.
I think with this now, we the youth of Zosi, we can through this achieve. Probably saying that we will become millionaire in the next 3 years.
We have a future in the next 5-6 years where we would be talking about over 150 billion palm economy.
With this project, the people can anticipate significant socio-economic benefits for the state and nation. Emmanuel Akula, Benue Television News, Makudi.
Officers of the Benue State Civil Protection Guards has continued to make more arrests following vandalization of doors and windows at the School of Aviation along welfare quarters in Makudi. The latest is the arrest of a bus loaded with over 20 doors heading to Makudi from Ikbayongo when it was intercepted by officers of the Civil Protection Guards. Mafaiku has the details of this report.
Barely 2 weeks ago, officers of the Benue State Civil Protection Guards picked up some suspects who were caught removing doors and windows from the School of Aviation. Then comes this new arrest of some suspects who were conveying some doors in a bus following a tip-off on activities of criminals in the area. The officers who intercepted the suspects around Ikbayongo said one of the suspects and the driver of the bus escaped into a nearby bush. Briefing correspondents over the arrest, the acting commander Benue State Civil Protection Guards, Ayoma Ajobi, says since the last arrest, his men have been keeping a close watch on activities of criminals in the school, adding that some doors were abandoned in the bush alongside the ones conveyed in a bus along Ikbayongo Road.
This case is a continuation of what happened on the 24th of July 2024. On that day, we arrested some criminals who had gone to vandalize doors from the School of Aviation. After that arrest, my boys were on their trail. We got information that the six doors were abandoned in the bush somewhere in Ikbayongo. These are the 6 doors you can see behind me. Following a tip-off, my boys, while on patrol, got information that a bus was conveying another set of doors to Makurdi, probably to be sold. And so they intensified their patrol and intercepted the bus. In the process of arrest, Abraham Gigi brought out a locally made revolver pistol. He was overpowered by our men.
The special advisor to the Benue State Governor on Internal Affairs, Joseph Hara, commenting on the arrest, says it was part of efforts this present administration is putting in place to keep the state safe.
It just shows clearly that we are not relating our efforts, or not sleeping in the effort to see a more secure Benue State. We are still going to handle this one again to the Nigerian police to see that they are prosecuted according to the law. It's a mandate that we have taken seriously, and will continue to follow it up to see that Benue State is safe and the full basket is filled once again.
A suspect, Abraham Gigi, who was among those conveying the doors, got arrested with one locally made pistol and some ammunition. The suspect's statement says he was only helping those carrying the stolen doors.
I was directed to escort those boys that were carrying the bus to show them road to read the safe one, which they cannot sink in the ground. Federal Medical Center Junction there. So the process, they stopped there. I saw some boys with sticks coming towards us. So before I could know, those boys run. Now they leave me there. So that is how they caught me. I feel very ashamed of myself.
With this latest arrest, a total of over 54 doors stolen from the School of Aviation have been recovered by the officers of the Benue State Civil Protection Guards. The suspect will be charged to court at the end of investigation. Martha Iku, Benue Television News, Makurdi.
A human rights lawyer, Femi Falanos, SAN, has warned protesters to desist from anything that would jeopardize the objective of the protest. Falanos stated this while fielding questions from newsmen on Monday. He warned Nigerian youths protesting against hunger, hardship, and socio-economic policies affecting the country to be wary of thugs and distance themselves from undemocratic forces who have taken advantage of the peaceful protest to engage in violence or campaign for another military coup in the country. The human rights lawyer said that the act of brandishing Russian flag while protesting in Nigeria is an abuse of constitutional right. Falano was reacting on the background of violent protests in the northern parts of the country, where protesters were seen brandishing the Russian flag while chanting "Tinubu must go." In part 2, after the break, the Ondo state government has agreed to pay 70,000 naira minimum wage to state workers. We'll bring you this and much more after this break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Benue Television News at 9. Well, moving on, the Ondo State government has agreed to pay 70,000 naira minimum wage to state workers. Speaking in Akure, the state capital, the state head of service, HOS, Bayo Philip, said that Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has given assurance that his administration would not do anything less than whatever is approved by the federal government as the national minimum wage for workers. Philip said that the state government was ready to implement the new national minimum wages approved by President Bola Tinubu for workers in the state. While restating the commitment of the governor to the welfare of the state workforce, he called that apart from Ondo State being the first to pay the 35,000 naira wage award to its workers. According to him, the state was also one of the first few states that paid beyond the 6 months earlier stipulated and would continue to pay till the new minimum wage fully kicks off. Philip added that the government also extended the gesture to retirees and workers in state-owned tertiary institutions as a way of improving the current economic situation in the country. Meanwhile, the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS General Christopher Musa, has said that the military and security agencies are after those that are behind the call for undemocratic change of government. He said the military knew that some protesters calling for regime change are sponsored, hence the military is trailing and will arrest those sponsors. The CDS said this at a joint press briefing on security chiefs on Tuesday, August 6, at the defense headquarters, Abuja. General Musa said that some sponsors of rioters flying foreign flags have been arrested while their bank accounts have been freezed. We now shift attention to the Comptroller General Nigeria Immigration Service, Kemi Nandab, who has revealed that the diaspora sponsors of #End Bad Governance protesters have been placed on its watch list. Nandab, who didn't reveal any name, added that the watch-listed individuals would be arrested upon their arrival in the country. She disclosed this at a meeting of heads of security agencies and service chiefs in Abuja on Tuesday. The immigration boss said the service has, in response to the protests, deployed more officers to borders, both land and airports, to ensure effective manning of those entry points. Nandab said the service has also stepped up surveillance to prevent foreign intervention in the country. The Director General, Department of State Services, Yusuf Bichi, said the agency has uncovered some sponsors but declined to give further information. The DG, DSS, Hugh was represented by the Service Public Relations Officer Peter Afunanya, said some accounts have been blocked. He said some of the persons operating such accounts are staying abroad, adding that they are being monitored. Well, the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adeni, has expressed hope that the suspension of duties and taxes on imported food items over some time would help reduce food prices. Adeni stated that his service is dedicated to implementing the policy as outlined by the government. He spoke at the security heads meeting in Abuja on Tuesday. He said that there was a need to ensure the interest of all the stakeholders that were considered before the implementation of the policy. The customs boss urged Nigerians to be patient, adding that some of the imported items already in the country would be cleared without duties and taxes. In part 3, after the break, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris announced Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate on Tuesday. That is from the international scene. We'll bring you much more after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back, still live on Benue Television News at 9. We're now moving to the international scene where the U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris announced Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate on Tuesday. This is as the VP prepares to take on Republican Donald Trump in November's U.S. elections. U.S. Vice President and 2024 Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris delivers remarks before departing George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, Texas on August 1, 2024 as she returns to Washington, D.C. Walz brings a rural Midwestern perspective to the Democrats' campaign while also having notched liberal policy goals such as cannabis legalization and increasing worker protections. Meanwhile, Bangladesh has released Begum Khalida Zia, the chair of the main opposition party, from house arrest. Zia, 78, who twice held the post of prime minister, was convicted in a corruption case in 2018 and sentenced to 17 years in prison. The head of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, was moved to a hospital a year later as her health deteriorated. She has denied the charges against her. Zia was an acquittal of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, 76, who resigned and fled the country on Monday. On Tuesday, President Mahmoud Shahabuddin announced Zia's release from house arrest and dissolved parliament after calls from the student-led national movement. Zia had led the BNP since 1981 after her husband, then President Ziaur Rahman, was assassinated in an attempted military coup. She became Bangladesh's first woman prime minister a decade later. Despite having ruled between 1991 and 1996 from 2001 to 2006, Zia's terms in office were marred by corruption allegations. As part of a deal to allow Zia to resume political life, her two sons, also accused of corruption during her second term, relocated to the United Kingdom. The announcement of her release came after the Army Chief General Waka Uz-Zaman was meeting student leaders to discuss the formation of an interim government that is expected to hold elections soon after he takes over. Well, Myanmar's army chief and coup leader, Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, has acknowledged his troops are under pressure after anti-coup fighters claim to have taken control of a key military base in the northeastern town of Lashio. The Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, MNDAA, part of a powerful alliance of ethnic armed groups fighting to remove the military from power, said it had overrun the headquarters of the Army's Northeastern Command at the weekend. Min Aung Hlaing did not directly address the situation in Lashio, but indicated that in northern Shan state, security forces withdrew their positions for security reasons and because they were concerned about the safety of people living there. The army chief, whose comments were published in full on Tuesday, accused anti-coup forces of abuses, attacking civilians and military hospitals and working with stooges at home and abroad to demoralize the population. Well, that brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, let's take another look at the top stories. The headlines: we saw that Benue state government has distributed 10 naira oil palms to youths. We also saw that Falano has said brandishing Russian flag is an abuse of constitutional right. And on the international scene, Kamala Harris has picked Walz as a running mate. Well, that was Benue Television News at 9. Thanks for watching. I am Susan Achin. Good morning.
Thank you.